Hello, everyone. We are going to get started in just a few moments. I see everyone just joining us right now, so that is fun and exciting. Perfect. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to American Family Insurance DreamBank, where we believe in the transformative power of dreams. I'm Madeline, and I'm so excited to have you with us today. Here at American Family Insurance, we believe communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dreams. That's why we created DreamBank, an inspirational community destination and digital experience dedicated to dreamers everywhere. From our daily event series to immersive signature programs, there's something for every dreamer. Our always free offerings are designed to help you celebrate your dream journey, overcome obstacles, and stay motivated. Now, I'd like to introduce you to today's speaker. Kristina Crooks is a humanistic ontologist. We practiced this like 3 times before we went live. And I still butchered it. I'm so sorry. And founder of Empowered Human LLC. She helps leaders, creatives, and individuals align their inner being with their outer doing so that they can be the architect of their life, making big and necessary decisions and take action. She is particularly adept at helping people move through emotions or beliefs that keep them stuck, numb, reactionary, or triggered. Her zone of genius is helping individuals strategize and brainstorm a plan for turning their dreams into reality step by step. Kristina has been coaching since 2017 and was personally trained by an executive performance coach with 30 years experience coaching CEOs, tech founders. Her vision is to create a mindful, heart-forward company that empowers clients and staff to live and work from a place of deep love, profound connection, and divine humanity. Her mission is to encourage others to take a stand for what they most believe with grace and bold, inspired actions. All right, take it away, Kristina.
Thank you, Madeline. I'm so grateful to be here, and I wish I could see all of your faces. I can feel you. I can feel you. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to talk about curiosity. So today's talk, the title of it is Nurturing Curiosity to Foster Inner Transformation. And I'm going to give you a brief example of, or brief description of where the title of this came from. In 2019 and 2020, when we were going through the pandemic, for me, business-wise, it was two of the best years. 2020 and 2021 were two of the best years I ever had financially. And I went, why? It feels like there's this huge gap between where I'm at and where the rest of the world is. A lot of people were really struggling. A lot of people were. And I was expanding. I was growing. I was doing great. And I got really, really, really curious. What is it that I'm doing that makes it so I feel great every day? No matter what's going on, I feel amazing. Part of it was most of my work was happening through Zoom and online. And it was like pulling teeth to get people to come to things. And then the pandemic happened and everybody wanted to be online. So I went, oh, I don't have to fight for you to come here anymore. I don't have to try to pull you in so that we can be together and have a conversation. That was part of it. But as I dug, I went, I use a set of tools that are specific to me based on my training as a coach, based on working with other people, based on my just intense drive and passion to help people unlock themselves, unlock their humanity, unlock what drives them, what makes them excited in life, because that's what I wanted to do for me too. And that's the best. It is the best to watch someone go, I have this vision and this is what my daily life is like. And we can go, okay, there's a delta between these two. What do we need to add, remove, and transform to close that gap so that you can be living the life that you want to be living? What do we need to do? And a lot of times things that people come to me for are not the things that they're working on. But I digress. Back to curiosity. I found 8 keys. And for the first 2 years, I found 4. And those are the only ones I'm going to tell you about today. If you want to talk about the rest, you can send me an email and we can discuss that further, and I'll explain how to do that at the end. Awareness, curiosity, play, and gratitude. And I really sat with those four. I'm like, oh, these four are really present in my life. I practice these. I make a fortified effort that those things are present in my life, and that the things I do in my life have a piece of those. But then I thought, there's more to it, because you could be in those four things and never take any action. You could be in those four things and be complacent and not have big things happen, not take the step, because I realized you need to have a little bit of risk. But the reason we're talking about curiosity today is curiosity is that spark. It's the spark that sparks the rest. And I thought it was awareness. I thought when you start with awareness and you have more awareness, it is the trigger for all the other keys. But I went, aha, no, it's not. It's not, because if you're not curious, but you're aware, you could easily be just in dark places. You can have tons of awareness, but to have awareness of both joy and pain, play and gratitude and grief and sorrow, in order to have awareness of that polarity and to hold space for both, you have to be curious. So we're going to dive into that. A few housekeeping things. We actually don't need these because we're not on a Zoom call where I can see you. We're not dealing with being muted. So we're just going to skip past this. We're going to go right to our journal prompts. So I really want you to have a pen and paper handy. If you don't, take a moment to get them, or one, something that you can write on. If you want to just close your eyes for a couple minutes and focus on one, then do so. What is curiosity? What is it to you? What's curiosity to you? How does it show up in your life? Let's bring some awareness to it. What are your expectations of this talk today? What are your expectations of this talk today? I love it when people say, oh, I have no expectations. The likelihood of you having none is pretty low. You probably have some. So be honest with yourself. What expectations do you have? Do you expect that it will just be whatever it's going to be? That's an expectation, not one that you're going to be disappointed with either way. What are your expectations of today, of this conversation? And then the third one is, what does this title mean to you? Nurturing curiosity for inner transformation. What does that mean? What does nurturing mean to you? What does curiosity mean to you? What does inner transformation mean to you? When we can put our language and our words under the microscope, we really get to see where our expectations are, where our meaning is, where our beliefs are. What do we believe about these things? So I chose this title for a number of reasons, and I'll tell you in a moment, but we're just going to take about a minute here for you to sit with this. If you don't have a pen and paper handy and are finding yourself still looking for one, just come back and sit with me. So often we don't take just a moment in our day to just sit and be. Be with this. What is curiosity to you? What is it to you? What does it mean? What meaning do you give it? Sit with that. Let the question percolate in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, in your cells. What is curiosity to you? Finish jotting down the sentence you're working on if you're writing. Come back to present. If your eyes were closed, open your eyes and come back to us here. Please write in the chat something that came up for you. I know it was short, but our time is limited here today. We only have 30 minutes. And we may go over a little because it's me and I love to give you as much value as I can. So I don't know if any of you know me, I doubt it, but if you knew me, you would know that I tend to often go over a little bit. So if anyone needs to leave right on time, feel free to do so. But if you don't mind sticking around, stick around. So please do write in the chat what came up for you. What expectations do you have of this talk today? We're going to revisit that question at the end. So what expectations do you have? What is curiosity to you? And what does this title mean to you? What's come up so far? Which is just going to be your baseline, right? Like whatever you're walking in with is whatever you walk in with. So I'm going to take a look at some of these. Michelle Weber says, walk away feeling inspired. So that's an expectation. I love that. And I love that you set that expectation because you are then setting your focus towards what can be an inspiration to you. That's what you're looking for because that's the expectation you've set up. Kobe Sturton says, I'm hoping to learn some tools, questions to use in my life. Oh, honey, I got so many questions you could use in your life. And we're going to really dive into what questioning ourselves means. Like, how can we do it in a way that has an inspirational, empowering flavor rather than a disempowering one? We're going to look at that. And we're going to look at some research. We're going to go through it fairly quickly so that I can have more of these pausing moments because we do it so infrequently in life. And it's such a profound practice. Diane says, curiosity is the need to understand, explore, and learn. My expectation today is to open up my curiosity even further. I love that you guys are coming with curiosity and that the title alone has drawn in people that want to learn, has drawn in people that are looking and seeking inspiration and seeking just to be curious. I love that. I love that. Feel free to continue to write more and I'll check back in a couple minutes. So if you haven't gotten to yours yet, please do post it in there. If you have something you'd like to say, I'm going to move on to the next one for now. All right. This is today's itinerary. We're going to look under the hood of curiosity. What even is curiosity? What are the different definitions? There is some research that's been done by it's not by the Good Science Center, but it's the Good Science Center in Berkeley, California, reported on this research done by 4 researchers. And I will mention them in a moment. I need to find my note that I've got up here somewhere of who they are so that I give credit where credit is due. So we're going to uncover some of the research they found, and we're going to look at intellectual humility versus intellectual arrogance. The 2 types of curiosity that we're going to be exploring is general interest curiosity. So if you want to keep notes, you're welcome to write those down. General interest curiosity and deprivation curiosity. Very interesting because I even learned some new things by doing the research to present this to you guys today. And then we'll have some journal prompts and some Q&A at the end. The Q&A will happen through the chat because we're not on a Zoom call that's there. Oops, didn't mean to go so fast. I was looking back for, here we go. I was making sure there was no more chats. Okay, so that's today's itinerary. And the definition, according to, let me check in with my time. Okay, we're good. According to Merriam-Webster, these are a few of them. They have a bunch, but these are the top 3 that I felt fit the most and are the most common. Desire to know. And you'll see when we talk about deprivation curiosity, that desire to know tends to be more often found in deprivation curiosity because it's a desire for certainty. It's a desire to understand something as a means to an end and to close the gap of what you don't know. So people that are curious in a job, oh, I'm curious how I can make more money. I'm curious how I can get better at this so that I stop having my manager tell me I don't know what I'm doing. That would be deprivation curiosity. It's curiosity. It's cloaked and veiled as though it's curiosity, but it's not the kind of curiosity I really want to drill into here, which is wonder and awe. And we'll get there. Another one is interest leading to inquiry. And one of our participants here had mentioned that. Again, if you have thoughts or questions or comments or something, you're like, yeah, that really sparked something for me, please say it in the comments. I want you guys to be engaged. I want you to be here with me. I am not someone who wants to just lecture to nothingness. So join me in the conversation. Feel free to leave comments, and I keep checking back to see if there are any comments. Whoops. We'll come back here, I promise. We'll come back to that one. All right. And then the third one is one that arouses interest, especially for, I don't know how to get my screen to move. There we go. Especially for uncommon or exotic characteristics. So it could be, that's a curious individual, or that's a curious way to respond. And that's another version of curiosity. Let me show you what curiosity is to me. I love curiosity. So this meme is curiosity to me, and wonder and awe. I love the weirdos. I love the rule breakers, the strange, the whimsical, outlandish, peculiar, and uncanny, the misfits, the curious, unusual, eccentric, and unpredictable, the freaks, the people that are like the outsiders, because that's me. I love the radical, the stargazing vagabonds, the loners, the rejects, the outsiders, the silly romantics who dream of changing the world someday because they do. When you're willing to take a stand for something you care about, you're willing to look a certain way, you're willing to be judged for it, and it's coming from love. It's coming from deep love and profound connection and your own divinity, the world changes, because that infects people. Much like pain does, much like cynicism does, much like war does. But we can also be the light. We can be the light bringers. And we are in a world that's on fire right now. We can bring curiosity. We can bring love and wonder. We have a few comments. Let me check over. Michelle says, we could be best friends. Oh, yay. And then Leah says, I actually struggled trying to think about what curiosity means to me. I've never thought of it. So thank you for bringing attention there for me. Yay. That is awesome. I am so glad that it brought some attention to it. So often we move through life and we say words all the time, and we don't think about what it means to us, the meaning that we're creating. That's where our beliefs live, and our beliefs guide our behavior. They guide our actions. If you believe that most people can't be trusted, you won't trust. You won't give the gift of trust. If you believe that curiosity killed the cat, you won't get curious, because it could be dangerous. You could get hurt. I believed that for a long time, because I would get curious about this meme. I would get curious about weird things about people. Like, why do you like that? I was curious about serial killers, and I would go down these dark rabbit holes. So sure, curiosity can kill the cat, but have some discernment. And when we really look under the hood, we can start to recognize, do we have discernment? Okay, so now we're going to go over, I need to move a few little things out of my way so I can read. We're going to unpack curiosity. So there was research done so these were the researchers. You don't need to remember these, but I just want to give credit where credit is due. Daphne Shohami and Ron Hassan of Columbia University, Thalia Wheatley of Dartmouth, and Jonathan Schooler of the University of Santa Barbara decided to do research, spent several years doing research. It was reported on this year with the Greater Good Science Center out of Berkeley. And they spent several years investigating the role of curiosity in learning, creativity, and social connection. They discovered several variations of curiosity, and two main ones stood out to me: general interest curiosity and deprivation curiosity. So what are those? Let me tell you a little bit. Let me check my time, make sure we're good. Okay, we have 9 minutes. General curiosity, I'm going to read what they had in this article, because they sum it up much better than me trying to fumble through with my own version. So this is from the Greater Good Science Center article. General curiosity celebrates a lack of knowledge as an opportunity opportunity to gain more knowledge. So they kind of see it as this grazing ground of opportunity when someone has general interest, curiosity. People who exhibit this trait are motivated to learn for learning's sake. Motivated to learn for learning's sake. It's closely linked to intellectual humility. Researchers define intellectual humility most simply as the degree to which people recognize that their beliefs might be wrong. Give me a yes in the comments if we need more of that in the world. If we need more people going, I could be wrong on what I believe. I could be. Tell me what you think. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you believe. What if we did that more? Tell me yes if you think we need more of that. Intellectual humility. Because I knew instantly, I was like, oh, I could do that more. I could totally do that more. My biggest block in my life is I know. Because for decades, I know was a healing place for me. Well, now I know is a barrier to me. We have a few things in the chat, so I'm going to check in over here. Yes, I'm getting a lot of yeses. And Diane Lilly says, I'd rather be weirdo than a norm. LOL. Weirdos are very much open to change and improvement. Yes, weirdos are the ones that create innovation. Steve Jobs was a weirdo. Lots of musicians and artists are weirdos because they don't fit the status quo. They don't fit the status quo. What if the status quo is the problem? And so many of us are wired for connection that we want to be connected so we don't go against the status quo. It takes a lot of courage to go against the status quo and what culture tells you about who you should be. All right, I will continue. So where was I? So beliefs that might be wrong. I love that at least 6 of you that are here agree. And that's okay if you don't agree with me. Please, if you don't think we need more people saying my beliefs might be wrong, then say no, by all means. I want you to be able to disagree. It involves knowing that your knowledge is only partial and that your beliefs and opinions are fallible because of your psychological biases and because the evidence supporting them could be limited or flawed. Intellectual humility. And I was honest with myself and going, yeah, I need more of that. Leah says, most definitely agree. Love it, Leah. And thank you, Leah, Tara, CW, Kobe, SE, Tara, Michelle, Diane. I love that you are all engaging. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. You are making this presentation possible. All right. So now if we go over to deprivation curiosity, rather than an exploratory desire to learn, just learning for learning's sake, when you're in deprivation curiosity, it wants an answer to fill a gap in knowledge. Deprivation curiosity stems from an aversion to not knowing something. Its motivation is to squelch the discomfort of uncertainty. And I read this and went, I don't like what they said there. I went, oh, I don't like it because I feel it. I've done it. I have had deprivation curiosity because I don't like to not know. And there are so many things I don't know. So many things. And it's okay. It's okay. In order to fill the gap of uncertainty. So, and with each of these, general interest curiosity has a high correlation with intellectual humility. Deprivation curiosity has a high correlation with intellectual arrogance. You start to just wanting to be better than people, know more than people, and be the smartest person in the room. If you have an area where you're the smartest person in the room, then you likely have some intellectual arrogance. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you or that you're a bad person. We're human. These are things that happen in humanity, and we are so not alone. You are not alone. I've experienced all of these things. That's why I'm talking about them, because I've been there. In order to fill the gap of uncertainty and minimize discomfort, people tend to look for answers without discernment. So the problem is then you get people that are following leaders that are not healed themselves. You get people that are following politics that give them some sort of certainty, but they create a larger gap. You get people that follow cults because they give them certainty. We give them certainty. Certainty can be very dangerous because life is uncertain. It's just the nature of life. And with that, I know I've mentioned wonder and awe. So wonder and awe really stems from this general interest curiosity. Now, that's not to say that deprivation curiosity doesn't have its place. Think of, the mad scientist that's on this search for a cure for something and they can't let it go. That's a deprivation curiosity where they have to know. They have to know the answer. They have to figure out the puzzle. So that can push you to do something that you otherwise your interest may wane because it got hard and that drive isn't there anymore. So it has a place. It's not all dark, but curiosity has both a light side and a dark side, and it's a balance of the two. That's life. Life is a balance. It's a constant paradox. So that's why it's so beautiful, to look at curiosity, because it highlights what life in general is. And I just want to check okay, we don't have anyone saying anything in the chat. Let me know how this is landing for you, if it's impacting you, what you're getting out of it, if it comes up. So let's go into wonder and awe, because in my perspective, wonder and awe really comes from this general interest curiosity with intellectual humility. In a recent book by psychology professor Dacher Keltner is fascinating because he also consulted for the movie Soul. I saw an interview with him and Ray Doctor, the producer of that movie. Soul is a Pixar movie. And they talked about how they looked at all the different world religions to see if there was what the consistencies were and what was common among them all. Let's see. Kobe says, that's exactly what I was thinking too. I experience a balance between these forms of curiosity regularly. Yes. Notice where it shows up in your life, because I guarantee it will, in both sides, and both have a purpose, and a reason for it to show up, and it can help us in our lives. So in his recent book, psychology professor Dacher Keltner, Awe, the New Science of Everyday Wonder and How It Can Transform Your Life, he explains the brief moments. He explains that brief moments of awe are as good for your mind and body as anything you might do. Besides being a memorable emotion, awe boosts curiosity, builds humility, helps with critical thinking, and makes people feel more connected. It even makes us happier. 20 years into teaching happiness, Keltner writes, about how to find deep happiness, I have an answer. Find awe. So they're interconnected in this circle that just one hand feeds the other. You've got curiosity that can lead to awe, and then awe boosts curiosity and creativity as well. There's all kinds of research on it, and he is a leader in awe research. But when you look for these moments of awe, you might have had, I know Madeline recently, our host today, recently had a baby. Her baby is 7 months old, and Leo, I'm sure she had a moment of awe the minute she saw his face. You've been growing this baby for 9 months, and then you get to meet this living, breathing human being that you grew. That's awe. You look up in the sky and you see all the galaxies and you think there's no way I would ever know what's up there. It's so amazing and so profound. You stand in front of the ocean during a storm and you'll feel awe. You look at a tiny little bug and see how I remember feeling awe when I was in Costa Rica for a biology class decades ago, and we were studying leafcutter ants, and they all had their role. And I thought that they cut the leaves to feed their hive, but they don't. They cut the leaves to feed the fungus that feeds their hive or their nest, whatever it is called for ants. I don't remember now. I felt awe, like, oh my God, there's so much I don't know. I'm so curious. And the awe and the curiosity go hand in hand. If we have more of that with human beings, with understanding people, with understanding their perspective, with getting curious. So we'll say you hold a very strong political belief about something. Get in conversation with someone who is the complete opposite of you and just listen. Ask them, why do you believe that? What drives you to believe that? Not with a sense of, of judgment, but with discernment, understanding that their beliefs are theirs and yours are yours. How do you think that would go? What do you think that would be like? So the last piece is beliefs, inner freedom, and parts. So for any of you that need to go, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here. I know we're 2 minutes over our time and I just checked in with the time. So I really appreciate it. We are recording this. So if you want to catch the rest of it later, I'm sure Madeline can send you a link to the video. And then for the rest of you, we will carry on. We probably have about 10 minutes left and then we'll go. Beliefs, inner freedom, and parts. So being curious, general curiosity, and being okay with not knowing led me to being able to explore my beliefs without judgment or criticism, much like you can then hold space for others. A lot of times we can bump up against things in ourselves and, someone will point something out or they'll call us out on something and go, you have this pattern, you do this thing. The knee-jerk response, someone just did it to me yesterday. And I went, I don't do that. But they were reflecting a behavior to me. And I went, I'm giving this talk tomorrow on curiosity. How can I get curious about what they just said and my response to it? And that practice, it's a practice. It's not something you do once and you've just got it in your mind and then you'll always go to that thing. It's a practice. When we can practice that curiosity and that inquiry into ourselves, why did I respond that way? Why did I have that emotion pop up just now? Why was I triggered? Why? It is our responsibility as human beings to do that. It led me to, I was telling Madeline before our call, to find this part of myself, and I just want to check in with the chat. Okay. I found this part of myself that I was kind of embarrassed by. Like if people were really salty around me or kind of piratey, I could poke on those parts that were triggers. And sometimes I would do it in groups. People would have a trigger come up and they would want me to address it and make the space safer. And I go, no, that's not what this space is about. Your trigger is yours. Now, if someone said something overtly racist or inappropriate or attacking, absolutely not. That does not leave for a safe space. But if someone had good intentions and the other person took it a certain way and now they're feeling like it's unsafe because they had a belief that got triggered, we're going to address you being responsible for that. And in all of that work, I had parts of myself, which is based on Richard Schwartz's internal family systems. Oh, Essie says, thank you. I wanted to check in with the chat. You're welcome, Essie. Oops, I didn't mean to skip that piece. So I found this part of myself that I called Miss Apple Pickens, and she's a pirate that sits in the corner of the bar and eats an apple while she watches all the bar fights that she started. And because there's a part of me that felt that way, a part of me that felt that when I pushed on people's triggers where I wanted them to take responsibility for their own emotion and the response to something, not their response, their reaction, usually a knee-jerk reaction. And it was very loaded, just tons of emotion behind it. I wanted them to be responsible for it. I wanted them to dig in so that they didn't give their power away to somebody else, so that they felt empowered in how they moved through life. Because then the more people that are alive with that, the more people that are aware of that become better parents, become better leaders, become better coworkers and neighbors and bosses and employees. That's the kind of world I want to live in. So I found this part of myself and now it's just fun. It's just funny when that part of me pops up because I'm like, okay, let me have some discernment and not just push the button of that trigger for someone for the sake of pushing that button. Let me really explain what my purpose is behind it. All right, next one. We're going to jump into some journal prompts here. Let me move this over and we're going to wind down. Has your original, I want you to pick one of two. If you feel like you want to take a couple minutes for both of them, you can, but we're just going to take like 3 minutes here. Has your original perception of curiosity shifted? If so, what changed? What are your thoughts now on curiosity? Right now, in this moment, unfiltered. And the second question, what do your original expectations for this call teach you about you? I strongly believe that how we do one thing is how we do everything. Those of you that came in with an expectation, I know someone said they were expecting to be inspired. What has it taught you about you? I could give you all sorts of feedback on what I think and answer that question myself. I will hold back because I really, really, really want you to explore the sea of you. Has your original perception of curiosity shifted? If so, what changed? What are your thoughts now on curiosity? What do your original expectations for this call teach you about you? I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes, and I want you to sit there. And if you want to sit in silence, you can. Close your eyes, be with these questions, or you can spend the time writing. All right. Begin to bring your awareness and your presence back. I love the comments. I can't wait to read these. Finish whatever sentences you're working on. If you're typing it in the chat, complete what you're writing. If you wanted to put something in the chat, put it now, because by the time I get down to you, there's a few to read, and you'll still have a couple minutes to type. All right. CW says, no, my thought now is to stay curious, and to stay curious with a smile. Yay, I love it. Jags Litter says, it's okay to be curious. It helps to learn new skills and to not be afraid to ask questions. 100%. I tend to have the opposite issue where I ask way too many questions before someone finishes. And if I just let them finish, they would answer all my questions. I get eagerly curious and I can't contain myself sometimes. Diane Lilly says, I believe so. Curiosity is so much more diverse than I thought, right? That's the beauty. This has linked some of my thoughts and actions in a totally new way. Huh, who knew? I love that, Diane. Kobe says, I'd never before thought about there being two main types of curiosity. That's a good takeaway for me. Thank you. I like the balance and see value in both. I do too. Michelle says, when done, would you mind sending me a copy of this presentation to share with my team and with your book references? Thank you so much. mweber2@mfam.com. So Madeline, would you take note of that? And I think Madeline plans to send it out. So with that, we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much, everybody. Here are some resources. Feel free to take a screenshot that I prepared for this talk with you guys. Greater Good Science Center and magazine. They have a lot of amazing resources, a lot of great articles. Richard Schwartz for Internal Family System for discovering your parts. He marries ancient wisdom with Western medicine, and it's really good stuff. Dacher Keltner's book on awe, and there is the link for it, The New Science of Everyday Wonder and How It Can Transform Your Life. We need to be the light, you guys. We're in challenging times. Go be the light. And the researchers that investigated the role of curiosity and learning, creativity, and social connection, so that I gave them credit where credit's due. If you want to connect further with me, those of you on this call do get a complimentary session. So you can email me kcrooks@empoweredhuman.com. Feel free to take a screenshot of that. I invite you to go deeper. I offer one-on-one sessions, and I'm going to be doing my 8 keys to inner liberation as an 8-week course. If you join one, you can join others at no additional cost. I won't go deeply into that because that's not the nature of what this is, but those are some things I do. I took about a year to really be in my own personal winter, and I'm just coming out of it now with you guys here. So big love, everybody. Go get curious and be a light for others. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I know my notebook is absolutely full, and I really did love the moments too, just to kind of sit and be still. So I appreciate that as well. Uh, Definitely always running around. So thank you. And thank you everyone that tuned in and joined us. I love learning alongside of all of you. And until next time, friends. Bye.